They're all coming out now, they mean business, don't get in their fucking way.
The scenes are absolutely wild. Hooded gangs smashing through store windows, security guards helpless as mobs raid shelves in broad daylight, entire shopping districts emptied in minutes, and the police? Nowhere to be seen. This is not a third world country collapsing into anarchy. This is Britain. Right now, in 2025, the shoplifting epidemic has exploded into a full-blown crisis that's turning city centres into lawless zones where criminals operate with complete impunity. The numbers tell a story so shocking it's almost impossible to believe. Over 516,971 shoplifting offences recorded by police in the year ending December 2024. That's a 20% increase in just 1 year, the highest figure since records began in 2003. But here's the terrifying part. That's only what gets reported. Retailers estimate the real number is closer to 20 million incidents annually. Let that sink in. For every shoplifting case that police record, another 38 go completely unreported. The British Retail Consortium puts the cost at over £2.2 billion in stolen stock. Violence against retail workers has exploded to 737,000 incidents. That's 1,300 violent attacks every single day. And it's getting worse with each passing week. But real quick before we get into this, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built British Front Media to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe, because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. Reason number 1, organised crime gangs have turned Britain into a shoplifting playground. This isn't desperate people stealing bread to survive. This is industrial-scale theft orchestrated by criminal networks that operate with military precision. A groundbreaking Channel 4 documentary in November 2024, titled Britain's Shoplifting Gangs Exposed, went undercover and revealed the shocking reality. Reporter Matt Shea tracked Romanian crime gangs running shoplifting operations across Britain. One gang leader in Northampton was linked to over £120,000 worth of stolen goods from Morrison's alone. Sudocrem, Sensodyne toothpaste, Lemsip. Everyday items stolen to order and sold to wholesalers with ties to illegal visa schemes. The gang leader openly admitted there are 1,000 Romanian thieves in England. That's just one nationality, one network, one city. The BBC exposed another gang operating in groups of 3, using Bluetooth headsets to communicate and warn each other when security guards are watching. It's like a mafia-style operation. Runs like a business, says Sarah Bird from the National Business Crime Solution. These aren't opportunistic shoplifters. These are sophisticated criminal enterprises with distribution networks stretching across the world. Project Pegasus, the national police operation focused on serious organised shoplifting, made 60 arrests in just 4 months. Those arrests impacted organised crime, accounting for £3.4 million in losses. But that's barely scratching the surface. The gangs adapt faster than police can respond. The Metropolitan Police launched Operation Zoradon in October 2025, the UK's largest ever crackdown on organised shoplifting gangs. Over 300 officers carried out raids on more than 100 shops suspected of reselling stolen goods. Thousands of pounds worth of items were seized. Earphones, speakers, Lego sets, beauty products, all stolen, all being sold openly in London stores. Superintendent Luke Baldock stated shoplifting is not a victimless crime, and the gangs involved are organised and have links to drugs and violence. But shut down one hub and 3 more pop up. The profits are simply too massive, the risks too low. Reason number 2. Police have completely lost control of city centres. The statistics on police response are absolutely damning. Out of 494,086 shoplifting offences in 2024 that were assigned an outcome, only 19% resulted in a charge or summons. That means 81% of shoplifters face absolutely no consequences. Even worse, 57% of investigations were closed with no suspect even identified. The police don't show up, they don't investigate, they effectively don't care. The Association of Convenience Stores revealed their members alone recorded 6.2 million thefts. Police recorded a fraction of that, James Lohman, ACS chief executive, stated the volume of theft is still massively underreported. The summer 2024 riots exposed just how powerless police are when disorder strikes city centres. Between July 30th and August 5th, Britain's shopping districts descended into chaos. In Liverpool, rioters stormed the Strand and Church Street. Mobs yelled, get the phones," as they battered their way into repair shops. 23 arrests, but entire streets of shops were ransacked. In Hull, 25 arrests, 11 police officers injured. A shoe zone was set ablaze. Greggs looted, Specsavers smashed. An O2 store raided with looters casually walking out with armfuls of stolen phones while the building was still being vandalised. In Manchester, a Sainsbury's local in the city centre was stormed. Eyewitnesses described mobs grabbing items and throwing them as they ransacked the store. No police intervention came in time. The message to criminals was crystal clear. When chaos erupts, city centres are yours for the taking. One sales assistant at Poundland described being taunted by thieves because they were confident police wouldn't arrive in time to arrest them. A 60-year-old worker who didn't want to be named for fear of reprisal from his employer said he'd been assaulted by shoplifters who smashed his glasses and left him winded. No arrests, no consequences, just another day at work in modern Britain. Reason number 3, the violence has reached epidemic levels that make working retail a dangerous profession. The numbers are staggering and brutal. In 2023 to 2024, there were 737,000 incidents of violence and abuse against retail workers. That's up from 475,000 the previous year. Think about that, an increase of over 260,000 violent incidents in a single year. USDAW's survey of over 5,500 shop workers revealed 77% had been verbally abused in the 12 months to December 2024. 53% received threats of violence, 10% were physically assaulted, 6 in 10 said incidents of violence, threats and abuse were triggered by shoplifting and armed robbery. 18% of shop workers suffered a violent attack in the latest survey, compared to just 8% in 2022. That's more than doubled in 2 years. One shop worker reported a shoplifter punched the window next to me and said it would be my face next time. Another was involved in an armed robbery and attacked with a machete. Had items of stock thrown at me by customers. These aren't isolated incidents. This is daily reality for hundreds of thousands of retail workers across Britain. Paddy Lillis, USDAW General Secretary, stated it is increasingly common for retail stores to be targeted by organised crime gangs stealing to order with weapons and violence used to ensure these criminals are not stopped. The psychological toll is immense. Anxiety, fear, physical harm. Workers going to jobs knowing they could be assaulted, threatened, or worse. The cost to businesses trying to protect staff has exploded. The industry spent £1.8 billion on crime prevention measures in the last year alone. One luxury retailer in Kensington spent nearly £100,000 on security for a single store. Hanushka Tony, who runs the luxury retailer Celia, said the security for the new store is coming in at just under £100,000. The front door alone is costing £65,000. If we don't look after our own security, no one else will. Her anxiety remains sky-high despite the investment. The impact has been so much more than financial. Reason number 4. Retail deserts are spreading as shops close and high streets die. The shoplifting epidemic isn't just about stolen goods, it's destroying the economic viability of physical retail across entire regions. In 2024, 88 major retailers announced store closures across the UK. The Co-op alone recorded 330,000 incidents of shoplifting, abuse and violence in 2023, an increase of over 40% on the previous year. Paul Gerard, the Co-op's Director of Public Affairs, described a state of lawlessness on the UK high street that has never been seen before. Think about that phrasing, lawlessness that has never been seen before. In modern Britain, in 2025, John Lewis boss Sharon White warned in September 2023 that high streets risk becoming looting grounds for emboldened shoplifters and organised gangs. Footfall across the UK plummeted during the summer 2024 riots. Retail expert Diane Wellell stated the rioting undermines consumer confidence just at a time when it was starting to inch back up. It makes people feel vulnerable, so they don't want to risk going into a town or city centre for fear they might end up caught in the middle of something like a riot. India, Australia, Nigeria, Malaysia and Indonesia issued safety warnings to citizens travelling to the UK due to the riots. The cost of crime combined with the cost of fighting crime now results in a 10p crime tax on every transaction in every store across the UK. That's up from 6p in 2023. Customers pay higher prices, businesses earn lower margins, staff work in dangerous conditions, and criminals, They operate with impunity, knowing the chances of arrest are minimal and the chances of prosecution even lower. This is economic destruction masquerading as a retail crime wave. Reason number 5. The government response has been pathetically inadequate theatre. Labour's crime and policing bill introduced a standalone offence for assaulting a retail worker with a maximum penalty of 6 months in prison. They repealed the £200 threshold that made low-value shoplifting a summary-only offence. They promised 3,000 more neighbourhood police officers. They held retail crime summits. But the numbers tell a different story. Shoplifting rose 20% in the year to December 2024, under Labour's watch. Violence against retail workers increased to 737,000 incidents. Police response rates remain abysmal. Only 19% of cases result in charges. Some retailers are turning to controversial technology. Asda's trial of live facial recognition in 5 Greater Manchester stores received over 5,000 complaints. Privacy campaigners are outraged. But what choice do retailers have? When the state won't protect them and criminals operate freely, desperate measures become necessary. Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced a £2 billion boost to police funding. Retailers cautiously welcomed it but warned it won't solve high street crime. Why? Because the problem isn't just resources. It's priorities. It's culture. It's a policing establishment that has decided shoplifting isn't worth investigating. Reason number 6. This is the breaking point for British retail and urban life. So here we stand at the end of 2024, looking into 2025. Over 500,000 shoplifting offences on record for the first time in history. The real number estimated at 20 million, nearly 750,000 violent incidents against retail workers, £2.2 billion in stolen stock, £1.8 billion spent on security measures, an 81% failure rate on police investigations, organised crime gangs operating distribution networks that span the globe, city centres that businesses are abandoning and citizens are avoiding. This isn't just a crime wave, this is the systematic collapse of law and order in Britain's commercial districts. The social contract is broken. The state promises to maintain order and protect property. In exchange, citizens obey laws and pay taxes. But when the state stops maintaining order, when criminals face no consequences, when violence is met with paperwork instead of prosecution, that contract becomes void. Retailers are making impossible calculations. Do we stay and watch profits evaporate to theft and security costs? Or do we close and abandon communities that desperately need shops and services? Staff are making terrifying choices. Or do we watch criminals fill bags and walk out knowing our employers will eventually close the store because it's unprofitable? So the question comes to you. When you see footage of mobs looting shops in broad daylight, when you read about organised crime gangs shipping stolen British goods across the world, when you learn that 8 in 10 shoplifters face no consequences, when retail workers are being assaulted 1,300 times per day, when your local high street is becoming a boarded-up wasteland because businesses can't survive the crime, what do you see? Do you see a government in control or a state in retreat? Do you see police maintaining order or abdicating responsibility? Do you see British city centres thriving or dying? The looters have emptied the stores. The police have lost control of city centres. The government passes laws that change nothing. And Britain slides deeper into lawlessness with each passing week. This is not a warning about what might happen. This is a description of what is happening right now. The only question is how much worse it gets before someone in power finally decides to actually stop it.